Hello. Let's cover two different seated positions, especially for meditation. It's really important that we take the time to have the knees lower than the hips. And we do this, and let's do it together. So when we just sit regularly with nothing, you can see it's a simple seated position, but my knees are higher than my hips. Over time, this puts just pressure and stress on the low back, and it's not sustainable. And when we sit in a position like this and we become uncomfortable, we're not going to be able to have a successful meditation. And by successful, I mean being able to concentrate. If your body is physically uncomfortable, you're not going to be able to get past that. Okay, so gather a couple of blankets, a couple of pillows. I'm actually just going to take this big pillow from my chair because I know people don't necessarily have these bolsters and whatnot. So I'm going to sit up really high. So I've got two blankets and a pillow. And then you could come into a cross-legged position where your ankles are crossed in front, or where your heels are a little more in toward your pubic bone. So this, of course, requires a degree of flexibility, or rather range of motion in your knees and your hips. But you can see now that the knees are well below the pelvis, the hips. And then you lean to each side, you get the flesh of the buttocks out from underneath. Okay, the exact same thing if you're going to have a more open position, right? And then something I would suggest is put some blankets underneath the knees since they're suspended on the floor or above the floor, okay? And then the second position is one, I'm going to remove that. It's called hero pose. It's where we have the legs behind, okay? So you start in a tabletop position, and then you sit back. I've got a block on its second height and two blankets. Let me show you that from the side. Okay, we come into table. We sit back, and just like the other pose, you grab the flesh of the buttocks, you try to get them out from underneath you, right? And then you can clearly see the knees well below the hips, so I have no added pressure on those knees, and I can sit up nice and tall. Okay. Now, of course, the third option, if sitting on the floor is just extremely difficult for you because of your hips, your knees, your ankles, you sit in the chair, right? Which is what we just covered previously. Your butt goes all the way back. You support your lumbar, and your feet are on the floor right underneath your ankles. To come out of this position especially, please walk yourself back to table. Shake out the legs a little bit and come out that way. Best for your knees. Thank you.